The concern of me going back home is that I'm going to get really bored. And, like, when I'm bored, that's an even better nether portal. What is it? Idle hands are the devil's playthings. And that certainly runs true with me. But it feels like, in kind of thinking ahead to how to stop myself from getting too bored, I have found, like, 3-ish different possible plans, which are each solid. And it's more of, at the moment, deciding which I want to do. And that's giving me a surprising amount of anxiety. Not like a crazy amount, but a surprising amount. So there's 3 possibilities. There's the kind of the what I'm doing right now. I think instead of the stream content idea, which I was doing previously, which was more of the style of like a Ludwig or something, which is very much like, okay, here's the plan for today. Here's what we're doing for today. Here's the gist. Here's the memo. To instead, the more like Northern Lion, which is to just have a game, play it mindlessly, relatively, and yap continuously over it. Because I will say that I found this little style of streaming a lot more fun than what I was doing previously. I really want to kill you, but yeah, fuck it. Get over here. That's bad. All right. Lesson learned. I found this style a lot more enjoyable because I feel like it's less desperate, perhaps. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm constantly in some battle between the possible... Holy shit. Between the possible viewer and myself, of like desperately trying to continue attention to anyone that might be clicking in. You're not having to do the thing that small streamers often do, which is somewhat like embarrassing, of the talking to a chat that isn't there. Like, I guess in a sense I'm still doing that, but it's not so much that like I'm trying to have a conversation with chat and it's completely one-sided. It's more of I'm going on my own diatribe, and it's capable of being listened to by a potential chat room. But whether or not they participate is irrelevant. Open caves. You could get a parrot. And so I think that's a bit more satisfying for me, at least so far. Like, it feels better to just do these kind of mindless conversation-y things and not worry about having people reacting to you or trying to bounce things off of them or keeping it engaging. To instead just be doing it for love of the game rather than appeal. Because even though while conversations with chat are fun, it requires a chat. So if you don't have that, you can't do the conversations. Or at least not as easily. Dude. Holy hell, come on. I'm wasting all of my first day on you. Ocelot. Bro, seriously? But so there's this style. And oh my god. I previously wasn't really considering this style as a possibility because it didn't feel different enough to me. But Javi brought it up when we recorded the podcast yesterday, and how he liked it and liked the style and how it was doing surprisingly well on YouTube. So maybe there is possibility. There we go. So it would be doing this style and then having to create a very curated... It would be the style of routine, of content routine. So that's one possibility. doing these streams probably to like evening time-ish, having a routine. It would be really going for the Northern Lion like lifestyle. Honestly, that can make a funny video of trying to do like I tried to spend a summer living like Northern Lion, but like just the stream games whenever I stream probably would be like early afternoon, since I'm not going to do the like midday thing that he does. Trying to exercise daily. God, okay, never mind. We're not keeping the parrot. We are not keeping the parrot. Okay. Okay, parrot, you are staying here. This is where we'll live. You are not going to be pulling that shit on me. But like trying to work out consistently, I think it would probably be best if I could maybe just use an exercise machine in my house rather than having to commute to the gym. Because while commuting to the gym is kind of nice in terms of like building things like muscle and weightlifting and blah, 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 all that kind of shit. At the same time, it adds more barrier to entry having to go and commute there and like plan out like what I'm wearing, make sure like I'm not like if I haven't showered in a while, then it's like, well, I kind of feel like shit and I'm like gross. Should I go to the gym already feeling gross, or should I like shower now and then go tomorrow? Whereas I think if I could do it just in-house, that might be easier. And then trying to really tailor my media consumption. A difficulty I ran into previously was that there wasn't much to talk about besides like based on what I was consuming, based on just creator drama. And like sometimes that's fun to cover, but a lot of the times, at least more recently, it's just so like unfun and messy. And so I think, oh, there is a real one of you there. Trying to tailor my media diet so I'm getting fresh things, not just pure creator slop, like not just fucking drama. That way I have something to talk about on streams. That way I'm getting new information in my head. That way I'm not having to like go through all this horrible shit and like unfun stuff and talk about it. Because it's like, what else do I have to talk about? I think if instead I'm actually getting some like fresh intake. And I think that doesn't mean, because like honestly, watching Northern Lion wouldn't count as fresh intake. Because like he's still just like a guy and it's kind of just ripping his shit to if I'm parroting all of the things that he talks about in his streams. Whereas if I can get some more solid ingest of stuff, that might be better. Can I maybe get you to shoot the zombie? Hey, come after me. Ow. Nope, I can't. Okay, we're in a pickle. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Fuck. Give you motivation to lock in. You can do it, brother. I believe in you. You're actually a very smart cookie. And I think that if you do lock in, regardless of what the paper is, man, couldn't you have just died? Then you can do it. Now, will it be fun? No. It won't be. But you didn't ask me for me to lie to you. We both know it won't be fun. It's work, and work isn't fun. But you know what is fun? What comes after work. That's fun. That's when you can do fun. And so, you know what? I love you too. Anyway, back to what I was originally talking about. But I think like moderating... Oh, not again. Are you serious? Moderating the media intake. And so that's like watching actually good stuff. So like That's option A, let's say. Option B is to get a stinky fucking job. PU. And that also doesn't really solve anything else. My mom is really pushing for me to get a job. I don't fully understand her reasoning, but I kind of do. I think it's largely because trying to get me to find some sense of structure in something. And I can understand that. I have mixed feelings about the job. Because I don't know where I'd want to work. I don't know if I should go for something that I think would be fulfilling or wouldn't be fulfilling. Like, I could do something that is totally different to test out, like, oh, do I think I would enjoy this? And then I don't enjoy it, and then I can be like, oh, well, I definitely know that I don't enjoy it now, and so that's more motivation to do what I do want to do. Or do I go for something that is more, like... That was dumb of me. Do I go for something that is more in line with what I want to do, but admittedly not as close? Like, stinko job, am I right? Stinky. Stinky. And that also leaves open a lot of the other times of the day. And so I guess I could try to do the rest of the style in there, but I don't know. I don't know how much availability I'll have to be able to do that. I work 22 hours a week plus school plus job is in fact stinky, but it'd be fine. But I'd be fine if that's all I had. What do you mean? That like you'd be content if that's all you had to do? Because I wouldn't. Don't get it twisted. I know I wouldn't. Like, that's stinky to me. PU. Because then I'm getting engaged with something that I know I don't care about. Or I guess I don't know, but I would expect. Like, if I go work behind the counter at a damn ice cream place, don't underestimate how draining a 40-hour work week can be. That's what I'm saying, dude. I saw that video of that girl crying after her first 40-hour work week. We all saw that video on TikTok. That girl in tears.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9-to-5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like, fucking duh! If I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here, like, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till, like, 6:15 earliest, and then, like, I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like, I don't have energy to work out. Like, that's out the window. Like, I'm so upset. Oh my god. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just, like, the 9-to-5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9-to-5, like, if it was remote, you get off at 5, and you're home, and everything's fine. But, like, I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and, like, people that drive to the office, like, you don't get off at 5, and I know it could be worse, I know I could be working longer, but, like, I literally get off, it's pitch black, like, I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like, how do you have time to, like, meet, like, a guy? I don't know, like, how do you have time for, like, dating? Like, I don't have time for anything, and I'm, like, so stressed out, and I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional, but, like, am I so dramatic? It's fine.
And right-wingers were making fun of her, and then the rest of us were like, yeah, man, shit kind of sucks. So, like, I don't know. I also just need to see, frankly, what I get accepted for. Because I've put out a decent number of job applications so far, and have only heard back from 2, and they were both no's. Because, man, I would get drained from a 6-hour school day. I can't imagine an 8-hour work day. In a 40-hour work week. That'd be crazy. But so that's option B, because I also realized that doing that would give me opportunities to make a lot more social connections. Well, maybe not a lot. Would be able to give me opportunities to make some social connections, highly dependent on what the field is and what the coworkers are like. But considering how a large concern of mine is loneliness, like, I think that is something you have to admit is a plus. So that's option B. And then option C, is to just kind of go fucking nuts. Not in terms of like stay home, go stir crazy, but to be more radical. And like, I got this idea, I don't know from where, but to like maybe try to do some kind of road trip or something. Because like, I've never done that before. Really, I've never done a road trip for the sake of like traveling and for this, or for the sake of like touristing on the road trip. It's normally a lot more like going from point A to point B and not so much wandering in the places in between. And so like, I was thinking, considering drive back up to Boston for the summer, low key. Could be the move. Yeah, so I could do that. But like, I don't know. Like, I think that could be fun. Just like a more solo road trip of like a bit of like giving me some freedom in terms of like what I'm doing in the day today, but just like with some uniting central goal of going somewhere. I don't know. Feels interesting. I think it could certainly get very lonely, I'll admit, but at the same time, I would expect it to feel like a different kind of loneliness, like an intentional loneliness, like a loneliness I'm choosing, rather than one that's being forced onto me. I don't know, just something I'm thinking about a sweet bit. But so that's option C, and so it's kind of just deciding which of those do I want to do, and like, at the moment, I'm hella anxious. So like, I don't feel like I can make a decision very well on what to do. I think at the moment, I'm just really anxious about going back home in the first place, about what that's going to be like, and the move and packing things up and stuff. Because like, probably after today, my computer's donezo. Not like donezo, but like we're packing it up and stuff. And then having to do the whole haul back and everything, and like, it's gonna be so much of a pain to try to, over the next few days, bring stuff down from my apartment to the minivan we have to move it all. Like, man, there's not like a good place for the car to drive up. Like, I'll kind of just be forced to just like go through the motions on a rickety ass elevator and do a lot of like one-man hauling. Like, I'm getting anxious about that as well. So I think I just need to kind of live through the moments of the next week or so as I'm commuting back home, let it run off of me, and then once I've found more stability, then I can get a better assessment about where I want to go. Option D, start a pro-democracy militia group. That's valid. That could be fun. Get some shit done. Certainly in a very politically active mindset after all the Andor. Or like, yeah, I don't know. I was talking with Javi. We were shooting the podcast yesterday, as I said. And we were talking about things to do. And so he was kind of leaning towards... he was pushing me towards the option A. I was joking with friends that I was going to start the new Brothers of Liberty after all the current event stuff. Just added myself to another watch list. Hi, Mr. FBI man. Well, you're there with an increasing number of people day by day, so... It is like every day I do be seeing someone joking about someone assassinating Trump and like encouraging it. And it's like, man, FBI probably can't keep up. Like, there's a lot to go through. Javi was pushing me towards option A. He was saying that I should do gym, what was it? Gym 4 times a week, stream 2 times a week. These are minimums. And then try to put out another serious video, like a research video, journalism video. I mean, I'm gonna try to do that. I don't know. I'm beginning to become more interested in the road trip idea, just because of its novelty for me. Because I've never really done anything like it. I also say like it, but I kind of don't know what it would be entirely. Like, I don't have a clear concept in my mind for like, because I would want to record it along the way. and see what I can do, either to have it be uploading while it's going or afterwards. Like, it's just been a hot minute since I've traveled. And I don't really fuck with travel that much. But, like, maybe I do. You know? I would travel a lot as a kid with my mom and family. But now, like, that kind of very much made me, as little me, be like, I'm tired. I don't want to travel as much. I want to be home with my friends during the summer. And then by the time I was old enough to then be able to do that, then all my friends were in their travel eras. So it's like, all right, well. But I think that put like a bad taste in my mouth regarding traveling for a while. Just because, like, you know, what's the big difference? I think, like, in my mind, I wound up getting trapped in, like, well, what do these places really matter? Like, it kind of got taught to me early on that everywhere is just human. We are all human. We're all not that different. We all have our own little tourist attractions, our own little things, our own little grocery stores and our apartment complexes and all this kinds of stuff. And, you know, that was taught to me early. So the byproduct of that for me then was more of a, well, I don't give a shit. If everywhere is human, then what does it matter? Everywhere is human. It doesn't matter. We're all so what is there to go and see? Not necessarily anything. Like, it's just more places and stuff. And I think that perhaps I was missing the forest for the trees, or perhaps I'm overusing that phrase recently. The interesting thing about traveling, which I didn't get till I was a bit older, is because, like, in my mind, fuck the tourist attractions. High key. I don't care if it's a big building or if it's a nice church with pretty glass. Like, real shit, I don't give a fuck. So what if it has, like, crazy history? Okay, cool. That's great. I could learn that history on Wikipedia if I really wanted to, you know? Like, for me, it doesn't mean that much. At least I think compared to a lot of other people. Whereas it's more meaningful in, like, the elements of, like, kind of experiencing the vibe there. Like, there's some discernible difference in just, like, living in two different areas. And it's hard to really put into words other than just by living it and experiencing it. But, like, there's one, I was talking about this with my therapist yesterday, that there's one spot in my hometown, which is by a Wawa and a Target. And at nighttime, it just has a beautiful view. It's not a view of, like, anything. It's a view of a Hilton and a Texas Roadhouse. But in my mind, it's just a beautiful view. It's like this nice mix of suburbia and kind of calmness with city. And, like, I think if I could find that other places, that would be pretty freaking epic. Like, that would be very fulfilling for me to be able to go out and try to document similar little places. Just, like, nice little spots. Because, like, I'm also not a foodie. Like, food's food. I'm not a huge foodie. Like, food's food in my mind. Like, food yummy. But, like, in my mind, it's just, like, you know. Okay, this is one of the flavors. You know? Like, what is it? Like, the 5 kinds of flavors, or however. It's like savory, salty, sweet, sour, umami, and now Olo. Is it Olo? They said they found a new one. No, Olo's the new color they discovered with lasers. They found some new flavor, I think. Or at least that's what they're saying. Like, to me, it's like, if I take a bite into a steak, and it's like, it could very well be a good steak, but it's like, okay, this is the savory one. You know, like, in my mind, there's very low ceiling. So I don't really get the appeal of food that much. But that's not to say that if I'm traveling around, I wouldn't, like, avoid those places. Like, I think if I were to go to places just like around like decently rated restaurants and just be like, what would you recommend? Or like, what's a popular one? Or whatever the hell. Like all those things your parents say and you like kind of look at them a little bit weird when they say it. But like, they probably know what is good better than I do. Because I've just read the menu for the first time and I've had a relatively small palate over the years. Like going and then just eating that. And you know what? Maybe it tastes like butt. It could taste like butt. And then I could go on my stream and say, you know what? It tasted like butt. But then I would have at least experienced it and tried it out. But like still, that being said, it's like, you know, if I were to go to New Orleans or something, it's like, oh, go for Mardi Gras. And I realized my opportunity just passed. But like, I wouldn't. Like, what's the point? Everyone's going to be here for Mardi Gras. And I get that it's probably a unique experience that I'm missing out on and that I could get fulfillment out of. I don't deny that. I don't deny that it would be fun to experience it. But at the same time, I would not want that to be the focus of the trip. I would want it to rather be more about like the general experience of being there. Of kind of just like walking through the city, seeing what it feels like. The air in Boston feels different than the air in New York. Or than the air in Jacksonville. Or wherever. Like, it's just these places are different. There's just different vibes inherent to the architecture and the dialect and the regional, you know, communication styles and all these kinds of things. And so to just go through and be able to observe it and kind of soak it in. I go to school in Indiana. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like the vibe in Gainesville alone is very different from a lot of other places. That was one thing that I liked about Boston because I went to New York and I was overwhelmed by New York, at least when I was touring for schools. Like there's a lot in New York and like maybe that could be fulfilling, maybe like a different time in my life, or maybe now I would enjoy that more, but like it would be stupid to be like, they're all cities, they're all places. So I think it would be nice if I could explore those more. All right, now not fucking with the Knicks. Pff, who is? Am I right? Heyo. So like, I kind of want to go that. I want to like go down to drive through Louisiana, drive on the Louisiana roads, go into all those areas and their country, and their version of the like suburbs, and their version of the rural, and their version of the cow farm and all the industrial areas and all these kinds of things. See their coast, their docks and harbor. Because like just with the way it is, with the pure fact that it exists and its atoms are like, just with the fact that it exists and it exists in different circumstances, it means that it's different and that it is a different experience going through there. And to limit yourself to only focusing on tourist attractions or, you know, other things and like what's been marketed a lot, like that is truly missing the forest for the trees. Like I would want to go to somewhere and find the next big coffee shop before the TikTok finds it. Before TikTok finds it and it's like, wow, this is like the new, you know, fucking Jackson Hole pizza place. Like, I want to go there and be like, yo, you guys got pizza? And it would be like, yeah. Or they could be like, huh, maybe. And it'd be like, well, could I have some? They'll be like, if you pay a lot, and I would pay a lot. But then I'd have some bomb-ass pizza. Like, that'd be cool. I think when I did a lot of the traveling when I was younger, I didn't know what to make of it. It was just seeing these things, these visuals. It was akin to watching a movie. Charlie did that on his trip here, kept asking people what was it like to live in Indiana. Yeah, and I mean, as goofy as that is, like I kind of think that's sick. I'm fucked here. Oh! Like, I think there's a lot to find out there if you have the eyes to be looking for it. If you don't, if this is just things to do, then it's no different than watching a movie. It's no different than seeing fucking Zack Snyder's Justice League in theaters. It's just shit that's happening on the screen and you're observant of it. But you're not actually letting it into your mind in any meaningful way. So when I was just going through Greece or London or whatever, trying to experience it, all I could handle in my little child brain was like, okay, well, the only way I know how to like take in these things is to buy souvenirs. Like, it wasn't leaving much of a mental impression, but I could make it leave a physical one because I would have this souvenir. But then years later, I'm looking at this little model Colosseum and I don't give a fucking shit about it. It means nothing to me. Like, I don't have any real memories with it or anything. Like, there's no significance behind it. It's certainly not it's not comparable at all to holding on to the experience of from being there firsthand. Like, that would, I don't know, I think that would be cool. But I also recognize it would be a lot of effort in setting it up, to the point that I probably would lose out on that. Like it would be cool to go and to experience, you know, as Charlie was saying, like, to live Indiana like how the Indianans would. You know, what's it like to live here and like to have that experience and to be able to firsthand accompany someone who's like, yeah, you know, and like, this is here, and if you want a really good restaurant, there's this, but there's also like this one, and you know, all this other kind of shit. But I think if I were to intentionally go in with like, okay, well, I'm doing this as a trip to experience these things, you know, what's the best Airbnb? What's the most highest rated restaurants? And, you know, maybe I go and it's a fucking like Texas place, like an American food place or whatever. Or it's the highest rated one is like a Japanese one or something. And it's like, okay, nothing wrong with a Japanese place. But like, I'm in New Orleans. I don't know. I thought there would be more like local food here. Because like, if you get too in the weeds of like, okay, I'm going to craft this as a trip, then like, you know, then you're not really experiencing it. Then you're planning ahead this little go-kart ride. And a go-kart ride can be fun, but it's different than a casual stroll. Like, what is it? There's some like famous like little paragraph excerpt or something. And I feel like it was by Tolkien. I don't remember for sure. And maybe it was a part of like The Hobbit or something. Or maybe it wasn't. But it was about like the idea of strolling. About like, yeah, we're just walking a walk, you know, and seeing what comes along the way. And that's part of what the stroll is. To just go about and find. And you know what? Maybe that means you do have butt experiences. The question then comes is, if you're trying to experience these things, is a butt experience permissible? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I think also a benefit to doing it solo is that I don't have to worry about anyone else enjoying it. Unless I'm recording it. But then I can edit it out. Or they can suck it up. Like, I went to see my first concert like in February or something. And it was for an artist who's like pretty unknown. It's Wallace. Like indie rock. But like, I didn't have anyone to go with me. And originally I was like trying to find someone. I was like asking Javi. He was maybe busy, but he wasn't sure. And like, I timidly tried some other people, but they didn't seem very motivated to or wanting to. And I ended up deciding just to go by myself. Because it was like, I probably could have sold the tickets. Admittedly, maybe that would have been the smart thing to do. But it was like, I would rather just go experience this. This is a niche artist who, admittedly, I don't know how wide of an appeal she has. I don't think she has a narrow one. But it's not like I'm going to see fucking like Ed Sheeran or something, you know, or I don't know, Kendrick Lamar. Widest way I could say Kendrick Lamar. So it's like, I would rather just go by myself, experience it by myself, because I know that by myself I'll have a good time. And I won't have to worry about, if I'm going with someone else who doesn't really care as much, keeping them engaged. Like, I don't remember if I made this bit or I made this joke in a stream after the concert, but it was like the whole audience was I forget the joke that I made. It was like white girls and their 6 foot tall boyfriends who were going and supporting them. That was like the predominant audience. And like I would see, because like the girls, you know, 75% of the time were the fans. And like I would see frequently throughout the night, various different girls turning to their boyfriends and being like checking in on them, making sure they're enjoying it and shit. And they were like, yeah, or whatever. And it's like, there's certainly something to that. Of course, that's just part of being in a relationship, is enjoying things together, enjoying what one another person enjoys, and whether or not you necessarily care for it as much, just going along with the journey. But at the same time, I could just avoid that. If I don't know anyone who wants to do it, then why try to bring along someone who doesn't, or is maybe indifferent to it? And then I have to be the one worrying about them. I have to be the one thinking, oh, they're probably not enjoying this. Being like, oh, you can go. You don't have to stick around. You can go. Well, do you want me to go? No, it's just you don't seem like you're enjoying it. Bringing it up 20 minutes later. Dude, if you don't want to be here, you can go. I mean, it's fine. You know, like, that's awkward. Fuck that. And so, like, there is more enjoyment out of going solo. Considering, like, I can still enjoy it just as much solo. And so I think the road trip thing, I don't know. There's few friends available to even ask about it in the first place. And I also admittedly don't know how comfortable they would feel about it. Because it would be like, as per usual, most of my friends are women. And so, like, they might kind of feel a little bit weird about doing that. Understandably. So, like, do I just go by myself? Currently what I'm leaning much more towards, just because it's easier. Not have to worry about things like other people or all this other stuff, trying to convince anyone to go along with it or anything. And I think I wouldn't have to worry so much about all the other stuff that comes along with it. And would it be lonely? Yeah, perhaps. But such is life. Part of life is coming to terms with the person you are, and being able to find comfort in that. If I can't do that at the current moment, then that's in some ways indignation's a strong word, too strong than I intend for, but like, that's egg on my face. That's more evident about me and my own mentality than anything else. If I'm not comfortable sitting in my own head. Like, that's why I kind of am enjoying this different kind of streaming, which is the just pure monologuing, practically. That's why I am starting to enjoy these streams that are just like relatively nothing. Relatively being left alone with the thoughts, with little outside stimuli, because I know Minecraft at the end of the day, if I want to do this extra professionally, extra responsibly, then it would be super opportune about how I'm going about this little run and yada yada and all this stuff, but to the point that it's not as much enjoyable. That kind of undermines the goal, which is to use this as an exercise of kind of training the independent mind. But it's like meditation in its own way. I don't know, meditation has been a term that I feel like has been kind of weakened as a result of its wider spread. Like, some people be like, no, meditation's when you like sit down and you focus on your breathing and all that kind of shit. Like, meditation's more intentional. And then other people are like, no, meditation is just anything you do to unwind. Like, I'm meditating right now by playing a game, or like with talking with friends or whatever. I don't know. Anywhere you can find peace. And, you know, me, a white guy, I'm here to tell you what I think the answer is.